Hey Valley Middle, welcome back to another math video. Tonight we're going to be talking about how we solve real problems using decimals, fractions, and percentages and strategically go about doing that. Alright, but first, let's take a look at the question of the day. What is a turducken? I bet you've heard the word, and some of you might even know what a turducken is. But I got something else related that'll kind of blow your mind. Alright, let's get started here. First of all, our target for the day officially is 5.4a. I can strategically solve real-world problems involving fractions, percentages, and decimals. Let's do this thing. Alright, the problem of the day. Miss Carruthers' math class took the Chapter 4 math test before break. When she looked at the results, she discovered her students did outstanding. 82% of her students passed all the targets. Another 10% missed only one target, and the remainder of her kids missed 2 or 3 targets. What percentage of the kids missed 2 or 3 targets? We've got an A, a B, a C, and a D here. All right, let's think about it. Could it possibly be 25%? We had 82% passed all, another 10 brings us up to 92% passed, missed only one target or passed all of them, and the remainder of the class missed 2 or 3. It can't possibly be 25%. It's way over 100%. It can't be 1% either. We've only got really 2 reasonable answers here, 6 or 8%. But let's look at the math involved here. 82 and 10% is 92%. How much more do we need to get to 100%? B. See, I didn't even put a pencil to paper and I was still able to figure that out. Sometimes by eliminating the illogical choices or unreasonable answers, we can very quickly find out what the answer is, or at least develop a plan to check it. Here's another quick problem. I just took and put Mrs. Carruthers' name into the Google. I just put Mrs. Carruthers VMS. Guess what came up? These pictures are some of the pictures that came up. Well, multiple choice. Let's say your parents don't know who Mrs. Carruthers is. They ain't going to pick him, even though he belongs to VMS. That ain't Mrs. Carruthers. They ain't going to pick these 2 guys. Who are these 2 guys? Who cares who these 2 guys are? Last time I checked, Mrs. Carruthers, even though she acts like a cartoon character, isn't a cartoon character, leaving only one choice for Mrs. Carruthers. Once again, strategically eliminating some of the possibilities helps us evolve or get to the right answer. All right, here's the strategy for looking at problems. When you have a word problem, it's good to make sure you understand what the problem is, to plan, to solve, and to check. First of all, what does understand mean? It means, what do you know and what do you need to find out? All right? The second thing, making a plan, getting rid of unreasonable answers, and trying to start that plan. The solve phase is where you actually work through that problem, following the plan that you set up. And then checking. Check to see if your answer makes sense. And did you answer the question? Oftentimes we get so into the problem solving that we forget what the original question is, and we don't answer that. All right, here's a problem from the book that takes you through that. Madison needs to make some school pennants to decorate the cafeteria. It says I use 1 1/4 yards of fabric for each pennant. All right, your mission. Eliminate some possibilities to find out the greatest number of pennants Madison can make with 12 yards of fabric. All right, so let's see, what do we know? She's got 12 yards of fabric. Each pennant takes 1 1/4 yards. All right, so let's eliminate some unreasonable answers. Could it possibly be 12? No! Each pennant takes 1 1/4 yards. She has 12 yards. It can't possibly be 12 yards. Now we're left with 9 and 6. All right, let's use some logic here. Let's think about it. What if she made 4 pennants? She'd have 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yards, 4 yards for the 4 pennants, plus each one needs an extra quarter, 1, 2, 3 quarters, giving us a total of 5 yards for 4 pennants. Well, that's a good place to start. If we double that, we can figure out then that she can make 8 pennants out of 10 yards. Well, we still got 2 yards of fabric left. How much can she make out of 2 yards? Just 1 more, right? So she can make 9 pennants, or the 8 plus that 1. So 9 looks to be the correct answer. Does 6 make any sense? Well, let's see. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards, right? Because she has 1 yard for each pennant. But then she also needs that extra quarter yard, giving you an extra yard and a half meaning 7.5 yards. No, she can make more. So 6 isn't a reasonable answer either. So without even going into too much math, just using basic landmarks, we're able to solve this problem. All right? All right, let me have you try a couple on your own. Here's the first problem. Guillermo has a 3-gallon cooler with 1 3/4 gallons of juice in it. If he wants the cooler full for his soccer game, how much juice should he add? Pause it and think about it. Okay, I'm back. Let's see how you did. All right, let's get some answers here. Let's see. 4 gallons. Say what? It's only a 3-gallon cooler. How could you add? What? You know what I'm talking about. Next, adding 3 1/4 gallons. Here's my response to that. What? Can you even add? He's already got 1 3/4 in there. How could you put 3 1/4 gallons in? All right, let's see. How about 1/4 gallon? Baby Bear says too little. Yeah, I mean, 1/4 gallon plus 1 3/4 gallons is going to be 2 gallons. There's only one logical choice here, and of course it's right. Therefore, we move the star to answer C. He's got 1 3/4 gallons. He adds 1 more gallon. That would be 2 3/4 gallons plus that extra quarter. He fills it up. How'd you do? I bet you got that one right. All right, let's take a look at this one here. Elephants. An elephant in a zoo eats 58 cabbages in a week. About how many cabbages does an elephant eat in 1 year? Go ahead, pause it and try it. Okie dokie, I'm back. Let's see how you did. All right. 7. 7 cabbages? My question would be, who read the question to you if you answer 7? That doesn't make any sense. How about 700? Well, here's my thought. If he eats 58 cabbages in a week, in 10 weeks he'd eat 580. So 700 is not a reasonable estimate for a year because there's 52 weeks in a year. How about H? 58 cabbages times 20 weeks, well, 58 times 10 is about 600, so 58 times 20 is going to be like 1,200. That's not a reasonable answer. By eliminating the unreasonable answers, we can figure out without even doing too much work here that J, or 3,000, is the best answer. All right, one more for you. Try this one. Mr. Rollins drove 780 miles on a 5-day trip. He rented a car for $23 per day plus 15 cents per mile after the 500 free miles. About how much did the rental car cost? Pause it and give it a shot. I'm back. All right, let's see. All right, what are my smart remarks on this one? All right, first of all, I'm just thinking about $23 a day. Well, if it's $23 a day just for the car rental, and he has it for 5 days, 23 times 5 is about $115. So A can't possibly be right. All right. Papa Bear thinks this number is going to be way too big too, because it's 15 cents a mile. And here's my thinking here. You got 280 miles, right? Because it's 780, but 500 are free. So 280 miles at 10 cents would be $28, right? So 280 then at another 5 cents would be half of this, so that's $14. So really 280 miles at 15 cents would be about 42 bucks. Now, there's no way that 115 and 42 bucks is going to be 180, so that's why that guy's eliminated. Basically, you're left with these two answers. All right, let's see. 115 plus 42. I know it's more than 130, so the obvious correct answer here is going to be 160 without even doing the math. Okay? Just a little logical reasoning. All right, well, thanks for listening. I got your ticket to the show ready here. Let's see. It's about my son Connor. Connor read The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, number 7, on Christmas Day. He read half of it in the morning, 1/8 of the book during lunch, 1/4 of it after dinner, and he finished reading it before bed. What fraction of the book did he read in bed? 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/10. I'll pause and let you freeze the screen. All right, I want you to eliminate the possibilities and solve this problem for me, all right? Let's get to the just for fun question of the day. All right, oops, I got a window popping here, sorry about that. Our just for fun answer. What is a turducken? Well, many of you know. It's a turkey stuffed with a duck, stuffed with a chicken. But I bet you didn't know this. In ancient Roman feasts, they would serve a chicken stuffed inside a duck, inside a goose, inside a pig, inside a cow. What? I'm not sure what you call it, but that was done about 800 BC through 476 AD. A chicken inside a duck, inside a goose, inside a pig, inside a cow. Whoa, it's a little too much for me to wrap my mind around. I can barely handle a turducken. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good evening. Bye.